Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Isani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I am Isani Caetano.
And I'm Sabrina Daly.
And today is Wednesday, May 20th.
It is.
Yes, and for folks who are just waking up, we're glad that you're joining us and starting your morning right with us here this morning.
Absolutely, Isani. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, and I'm feeling a little bit rested. Yesterday was a hot day.
A little bit rested or a whole lot rested?
A little bit more rested than I was feeling earlier throughout the day yesterday. I know it sounds funny, but to me it makes complete sense. I really needed to wind down. I was in Belmopan yesterday and it was quite hot. And so I'm looking forward to soaking up the AC at the office today, you know, holding on to a little bit more of that.
Man, you know what? I don't blame anybody who have to travel to Belmopan for work.
Yeah.
My brother included. That place is hot as hell.
Yeah, well, it wasn't for work. I was there supporting a family I'm very close to. They lost a loved one, and so I was there for a funeral. But I had to be there, and I know that for whoever would be traveling to Belmopan, it's definitely love or just necessity, right?
Well, I don't think about the love part. I think they're locked into something that
the necessity.
The
necessity.
So yeah, I think about my brother and his commute every day.
Yeah.
I think about all these public officers who have to travel to Belmopan every day. Perhaps the residents of Belmopan are already used to the heat, so big up to April.
Right? I know April is tuning in right now.
People who have to travel from the coast and go inland and have to deal with that heat. Respect.
April might be tuning in saying, think about the folks who don't have an option.
All right, let's jump into our show lineup for this morning. All right, so for our viewers, for you guys at home, we have a two-part conversation with the leader of the opposition, the chairwoman of the United Democratic Party, and of course, Senator Patrick Farber. We're going to be discussing the state of Belize from their perspective. All right, so we're also going to be discussing skin awareness and staying safe in the heat. And lastly, we're going to be looking at a digital literacy project as we explore empowerment through technology. So those are the topics for this morning's show.
All right, I see April tuning in here saying, nope, it's still hot. It's still hot. No, I completely understand, April, but let's jump into some of the topics that we think you should know before you leave your homes this morning. Starting off with well-known reporter Aaron Humes has died after a heart attack at home. We did a story on this yesterday, and if you consume any type of media here in Belize, you might have seen or read some form of Aaron's work. So hopefully we can get an opportunity to speak about his legacy and his contribution even here at GBM. And then $160,000 from the immigration. There's a scandal. Who took it and who knew? That's a question. Those are questions buzzing right now. The Blue Teddy Bear campaign confronts child abuse crisis in Belize. And I think we are really still very much on this topic. And I'm hoping that we can see some type of end of this issue, Isani. Merikowicz under pressure as pastors call for billboard removal.
Where do you want to start from?
Let's begin with perhaps the top. I think it's important for us to acknowledge some heavy news that came out yesterday, and that's the passing of our colleague Aaron Humes. Let's begin there.
All right, so as I had mentioned elsewhere in the media yesterday, I met Aaron around 2013, but I did not meet him in person until sometime after. I say that because as an avid reader, the newspaper is one of my go-to if I'm not reading any novel or long form, right? And so I picked up the Mandala a couple of times, and there's a byline, Aaron Humes, right? Didn't know who the guy was. But what caught me was the writing, right? And so because I have a love of reading and writing, I looked for other writers and authors who would inspire, or who I could say I could sharpen my steel against, so to speak, right? And so the name Aaron Humes kept popping up in the Mandala, whether it was the weekend edition or the bi-weekly, right? And being a hungry reporter back in those days, when I go on assignments and I'm out in the field, you know, I start noticing people who come into the business, right? It's a bit regrettable that the industry or the profession in Belize is a revolving door, where we have a lot of people come in, perhaps try their hand at a story or try their hand at journalism and realize perhaps it's not for them and they leave.
Yeah.
So in that revolving door came this big fellow, right? And then I was like, okay, so who's that person? And I realized it was Aaron Humes. And I realized he was different than many of us in the business, right? But I think those differences were what, to me, made him unique. But aside from that, so we got to know each other. He did a stint at Plus TV. So he's been around in the media, right? We became pretty good friends, and then in 2017, we needed an extra hand here at GBM, well, then Channel 5.
Yeah.
And I was asked to pretty much go and scout a talent, right? And because of this thing with writing, my mind immediately went to Aaron, right? But this was on a temporary basis, right? We only needed a hand for, you know, what we believed would have been a short stint. So I went for Aaron. He joined our newsroom. And what I can say about, again, his uncanny ability to put words together and you know, commit that to paper. And when you read it, you're drawn into what he's saying and how he expresses his thoughts in the written word. And so many days I sat across from Aaron and I wonder how he approached his story today versus how I approach my story.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that there was a competition per se, but go back to what I was saying earlier, steel sharpens steel, right?
Watch your photo there back in the day. Look at Hippolito.
But Hippolito is a story for another day. If you look, it look totally different there, but
yeah.
Back to what we were saying, right? So there wasn't a competition or a rivalry per se.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, I wonder how he's going to approach whatever is given to him versus how I'm going to approach what's given to me as an assignment, right? And he never failed to amaze in terms of his ability and his prowess in writing. And I think that's one of the attributes, or that's one of the traits that others in the media were able to pick up about him right away.
Yeah.
The man could remember things, the man could commit it to paper and make sense of it all.
Yeah, and that's what you need
in many cases
in
at a moment's notice. Yeah, that's what we need. So we need people, we need talent like that, right? And every day I try to hone my skill. So when I think of some of the what I would describe as pure writers in this business, aside from including myself in there, I think about people like Jules Vasquez, I think about Aaron Humes, Mike Redon, and even Jose Sanchez, right? And I could throw in Adele Ramos in there as well for print, sorry. I think in my crop or my group of people, we were the ones who really took writing seriously and understanding how to express yourself through the written word. And Aaron was a giant among us there, right? I remember here at GBM as well, we used to clown the man, I'll be honest with you, right? In our business, we roast a lot. we get down, right?
I think it's a part of what keeps you sane, right?
Yes,
and that's what we
yes.
were talking about this morning as well while reflecting before the start of the show. Aaron joined GBM, then Channel 5 in 2017, and then I joined in 2018 as part-time on Friday. And so I remember for the first time, and I'm glad that you pointed out, kind of for avid readers, you kind of pick up on your favorite authors and their styles and writing, right? So you'd come to appreciate this particular author for their style. And when I started reading my scripts ahead of time, I remember looking at certain scripts and I could tell without even knowing who was the one behind the story. I could tell if that was an Aaron story by the script, by the writing. I could tell if there's an Isani story in this rundown. I could tell a Dwayne Moody at the time. And there was something about Aaron's scripts that I would have to go over it like 2 or 3 times because it's so descriptive and you have to take account of the commas and the punctuations because if you don't, you completely flop the entire reading of it. And that was something that always stuck out to me. Aside from his personality, as you described, he was such a gentle personality, but also very enthusiastic if there was a topic that he was familiar with, if it's a story that he covered or just anything really. He was a very kind person as well. And he definitely was a part of the roasting in the office as well. And so when I look back at just that moment that I had with him, I believe he left about 2 or so years after.
About 2020, thereabout.
2020, thereabout.
The onset of COVID.
I'm glad that I got to experience him as a colleague. I'm glad that I got to see firsthand some of his methods to his reporting, methods to his storytelling as well. I think there is something that each and every person who works in media could take from him in terms of developing our own skill set in writing, not only from print, but even for TV, which is 2 different types of techniques as well. And then now transferring into social media. I also was thinking to myself last night, it's such a loss when it comes to journalism, us losing Aaron, because we are in the era of AI now. And as writers, you can, because we are so versed with AI and with writing, you can almost tell when something is kind of like not original, right? But there was something about Aaron's writing that you can always tell that it's authentically him. And that's something that I appreciated.
That's why that's what I was referring to when I said pure writers, right? Like you know that that's coming from that individual without any other technological assistance, so to speak.
For sure. You could tell that. Even when he transitioned to digital writing as well, you could still tell that was Aaron there. And, you know, our thoughts and our prayers are with his family at this time. I know his mother expressed what that experience was like, finding her son in his room. I know he has a brother as well who I think works in the arts. And so our thoughts and our prayers are with him, as well as his other colleagues as well.
Yes. All right, so let's jump to the last item and then we'll work our way around the others, right?
All right.
So Mayor Kawich is under pressure by a group of 20 pastors in the Belmopan area who signed a letter pretty much urging him to take down this rude boy billboard, right? Now, I haven't really opined on this. I think you guys took a stab at it a week or so ago.
I'm shocked you haven't been a part of the conversation. I feel like we've been talking about it for weeks.
When I touched it, I was told that you guys already, you know, did your piece, right? But so here's the thing. First of all, I believe humbly to each his own, right? So you realize that in Belize City, there's also a banner, a billboard, a rude boy billboard. But Belize City people don't seem to take any kind of umbrage to that. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But Belmopan, with my good friends in the evangelical space.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's an Belmopan thing, you know, thing.
Well, I would want to think it's a Belmopan thing that they have an issue with the billboard, right?
Okay.
But I'll go a step beyond that, right? I'm not going to hang up on the billboard thing alone. I personally believe that if you're promoting cigarettes, if you're promoting cannabis, or you're promoting alcohol, you don't need a risky image to promote a drink. a cigarette, a cigar, or a strain of weed. You know why? Because most of we don't have we mind makeup already. Right? So I go on record, many people who know me know I'm a informal brand ambassador for Bellikin. So me don't need no sexy ad, I don't need no Bellikin calendar, because that's my drink of choice. I don't need no advertisement to tell me, okay, but check this out. Right? So that's my humble position. Maybe those of us who are, you know, into the rude boy experience, we don't need Nyla Blackman on a billboard or nothing very risky and stuff like that for sell with the product. Don't make up your mind already. Right? But to other people, they take grave offense to that, especially parents who instill in their kids a sense of morality and that compass. So I get it. I fully understand. Right? But it goes back to what I was saying, to each his own. If when I pass a billboard, I look for my kids and say, you know what? That's not for you until you are of age or whatsoever, as in the product, not necessarily the ad, right? That's not for you to consume until you reach a responsible age when you're an adult. Fair enough. How they present it, to me, is no different than when you go online or you go on television these days. You see far worse thing than that.
Yeah.
All right?
One of the things that I pointed out when we initially started this conversation was that advertising in this manner, it's not just now that this has been a thing, you know. I remember seeing, you know, ads for colognes, for perfume, and it's kind of like the sex sells type thing, right? Even for like fast food, they find a way to put a woman in anything. And
sexualize it.
And sexualize it, objectify women, even if that's where we want to take the conversation. So this isn't new. But and also what I was mentioning as well, and I think I remember a comment from Manigio saying that, you know, I don't know that it's very effective. I don't know that you buy a rude boy because you think that you want Nyla Blackman when you drink it.
Well, that's what I was saying, right?
Or if you buy one cologne, as Manny said, 10 women are surround you and start chase you. I just think it's a part of it. I don't know about that. But it has been a part of advertising for a very long time. And, you know, it would be interesting to see if there's any research on how this affects perhaps people in their psyche when they see these types of advertising, how they view women, how they view themselves when they get these products as well.
Well, there's long been this notion that sex sells, right? And if I make it up, I bought into the whole idea, and I'm sure you are, and most of us in society were born into this idea that for advertisers to be able to pitch a product, they have to objectify or sexualize somebody or something to make that point. And this group is not the first, nor will it be the last, who object to this form of advertisement.
Yeah.
But I don't know that in my lifetime it has gone anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, we did a small Belize, right? When you look at what happened in Europe with some of their ads, when you look at what happens in the United States with some of their ads, conservatism has gone out at the door.
For me,
they're going as far as they can go in terms of pushing that line.
Here's the thing, Isani, and this is just my personal opinion on this. So please, whoever tune in, please don't take offense.
That's your 2 cents.
I'm a conservative person by nature.
Enough,
but I'm also a person who's very respectful of people and their decisions, their life choices, right? And so you might not see me in any situation dressed like Nyla Blackman, the drink or rude boy, but that's just me. But for me, where I lie in this particular situation, I would wish that we would put this type of energy for issues like the sexual violence that these children are facing at this time that we've been reporting on the news. When we look at the Billboard situation, this has to do with consenting adults who want to go out and drink and engage with each other. You want for persons who are at the drinking age as well. If
well,
you drink
I like you
responsible,
this morning.
It's on it.
You know
let's
why?
not even go there.
You know why? No, I'm supporting you. I'm supporting you.
I mean,
you touch on a very, very sensitive and important issue.
This is looking at individuals who are of drinking age. If you don't legally drink and you know to drive and knock down nobody, I do not care. I'm still a conservative person. That does not take away anything from me.
But what
I
if
have
that
an
same
issue
energy
with,
what if that same energy is placed into the very same conversation that we need? That's what I'm saying. I like you this morning because we're on the same page.
There are children who are being abused. There are children who we are completely overlooking the fact that they are in spaces where they are supposed to be protected and safe.
So make we use that.
And we aren't putting banners out there in front of schools and talking about that.
Preach, sister. So, but make we use that. Make we use that for transition to the Blue Teddy one, right?
Let's go there.
Because and that's why I'm feeling the conversation, because you're touching on very, very important things where other groups in this society aren't really looking at that. So perhaps we got time to look for a billboard and raise all the objections about a billboard, but then we don't hear you up on the sex offense registry yet.
And you can still feel how you feel about the billboard. I have no problem with that.
We don't hear you up on the sex offense registry yet. We don't hear about the Blue Teddy Bear campaign.
Let's beat down the door and get that sex offenders list out there, that sex registry list.
Morning, though.
Really? No, but I truly believe that, because I think there are so many people who are, behind closed doors. They have no idea what to do, because this is a conversation that has been so silent for so long. We are seeing predators in spaces where children are supposed to go and learn.
Schools,
we are seeing predators
churches,
wearing uniforms in churches. Why are we not talking about that? And that's not to say that the billboard issue isn't an issue of its own, but I think there are bigger fish to fry.
In comparison, so to speak, right? And like I said, I could have said it better. I'm 100% with you, because when you look at these two things, and I like the transition or the segue from one to the other, but when you look at these two things, right, it's almost as if though, because this billboard is right in your face, it's the easiest, what we call low-hanging fruit, right? You're right in front there, so you could pick on that. But what about the issues that we've been tackling for all these many years, and we need full buy-in from everybody, including the churches, and they just remain quiet. They remain quiet. It doesn't matter how much we prod them to say, well, what are the church's thoughts on certain social issues, crime and violence? What are their thoughts on, other matters that affect us as Belizeans? Even our press release.
All right, so let me jump into some of the comments here online. I see Manny Gio saying, my suggestion for today is, let's start listing the ills of society the church doesn't speak out about. Open your eyes, I'll run into News 5 tonight quick. We have Tyler Smith saying, the world, Belize and Belmopan by itself, have a multitude of far more important issues. Then church people now have nothing sensible to do. Michelle Sampson said, exactly, Sab. That's why I said they are out here worrying about the wrong things. We also have another Tyler saying, somebody said, Lata, the same church people might end up on the registry. And the truth of the matter is predators are in all spaces, right? Not only in the schools, not only, they don't look like just sickos on the street where they don't have a look. They could be in the very same church spaces as Tyler said.
So in many cases, Sab, these are essentially wolves in sheep clothing, right? These are the type of people who appear to be meek and mild, and you trust them because, as my colleague Brittany did her story yesterday, there's this whole idea of grooming, right? Where people, young kids in this case, are essentially disarmed. So that when they build that trust and that confidence in you as an adult, that's when you take advantage of that vulnerability. Right? So again, and I love these conversations because I also get to win as a parent, right? So with my kids from very young, we have to teach them what is a good touch and what is a bad touch. We have to teach them how far they're going to engage with strangers. Because admittedly, while we don't want our kids to interact with strangers, there are times when people just approach you at random and ask you certain things or whatsoever. So you have to be able to discern what you're comfortable with in that scenario versus what you believe is putting you in some kind of danger or unease. So those are some of the values that we teach our kids from an early age. Now, if other parents approach it the same kind of way, then we are already doing our part to sort of shield them from society, people like that.
A commenter said, preach, Reverend Isani.
No, I had on a soapbox this morning working with me, only because you set the pace.
But I want to bring up a comment from a viewer. Esther, our very good friend Esther, said, I think Sabrina it's not about the billboard though, it's about the principle. And I appreciate your contribution on this matter, Esther, because we're not saying that you cannot have a particular stance on it. As I started in the conversation, I said that I consider myself a conservative person. However, what I take issue with is that we are focusing on something where individuals can decide if they want to consume alcohol or not, versus someone who's being abused, someone who's being preyed upon. And in this case, it's children who probably don't even understand what is being done to them, versus people who decide to pick up a beer, pick up a whiskey, and drink it on their own. That's what I take issue with. I mean, as I mentioned in the start, I grew up seeing these very same ads with women, and I did not decide to walk around and look a certain way. That was my choice that I took. But I have an issue with children who are in learning spaces and are being abused. I have an issue with seeing someone in a uniform who's supposed to protect us, and we're seeing that circulated on on social media, hitting a child. And imagine, I have to sit and imagine what worse he's experiencing that's not being recorded. So that's my stance on it, and I respect anyone's view if it's different or not. I am not here to say whatever you think is wrong. That's your choice.
So yes, so it's a conversation we could continue on with, but we got limited time, so let's jump to the final topic, right?
All right, let's jump
into
it.
So at the Immigration Department, there's an ongoing investigation into monies that are unaccounted for.
Aye, man.
And I put it very, very politely, right? Monies that are unaccounted for, upwards of $160,000. Now, they're questioning whether this is the work of one individual or several individuals at the office here in Belize City. That's one. And two, were the supervisors asleep at the wheel? Because certain things we believe you ought to know or you ought to catch up with at some point in time. And in many instances, Sabrina, these aren't one-off things. You try your hand once, powerly $5, and never catch. Then you start with $10, then you go to $15, so on and so forth. And over a period of time, when all is calculated, they realize, whoa, so much thousand missing. It doesn't only happen in the Immigration Department, it happens across government. It also happens in the private sector, right? I was reading a story the other day, I don't know if it made news, but a well-known jewelry house had an employee who stole, from what I read, upwards of $20,000 worth of jewelry and what have you. And they only found out afterwards, right? It's to say that their kind of misappropriation happen everywhere. But in this case, it's public funds, right? My money, your money, all our money. And maybe it's just the tip of the iceberg that they're hovering around 160K. Maybe it goes beyond that. My question is, when will I bring that person to justice?
Yeah.
When will we know who that individual is? I have an idea. I was sent some information, but until a charge is being brought or that person is openly named by the department, I have to left that alone, right? But the point is, show us who these individuals are. Let us know who are the people that were the thief for we hard-earned taxpayers' dollars.
I mean, for me, all would that make I wonder that I imagine how much of that department things like this when it happen so long and we don't know too. You know, and that's something, that's another conversation that I think we should be having as well. Perhaps we might not be able to really dissect it as much as we'd like with the time that it requires, but there are so many departments, so many public, you know, sector departments where they've long said, you know, this department corrupt, and thief here and thief there, but have we ever seen who actually has done it? I don't know.
Yeah.
That just what I always say.
We talk about it, but we've never really put a face to it. That individual has never been brought to justice.
I also wonder what has been the measures that they've put in place that they've now been able to detect too, that some of these monies are being misappropriated or going missing as well. How are they not able to quickly jump on that in the past too, I think is something that we could also discuss. But we are completely out of time, Isani, and it feels like the morning flew by so quickly today as well. So I want to thank everyone who's been commenting this morning with us. I see we have a commenter here who frequently tunes in. I want to say a special birthday shout out, or happy birthday to Wilbert Zelaya. Happy birthday to you, Wilbert. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for starting your birthday right, starting a morning right here with us. All right, but at this time we're going to jump into our Eye on the Weather, brought to you by the folks from the National Meteorological Service. here is this morning's Eye on the Weather, again brought to you by the folks from the National Met Service. Today's forecast calls for sunny with a few cloudy spells and partly cloudy skies tonight. Showers, if any, will be light and isolated. In terms of today's temperatures, coastal areas will expect highs of 89 degrees Fahrenheit and dropping to lows of 83, so not very much of a difference. But inland areas can expect highs of 95 degrees Fahrenheit and then dropping to a low of 74, so you guys can enjoy a little bit more cooler temperatures. And then in the hills, highs of 82 degrees Fahrenheit and dropping to a chilly 68. Guys, I'm so jealous. Now for Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday for coastal and inland areas. On Friday, you can expect highs of 89 degrees Fahrenheit, dropping to lows of 83. And in inland areas, 95 for highs and 74 for lows. Now very similar temperatures on Friday as well on Saturday. And then on Sunday, highs of 89 for coastal areas, dropping to lows of 82. And then in inland areas, highs of 94, dropping to lows of 74. So we can see for the next 4 days, very similar temperatures for the coastal and inland areas. The sun rose this morning at 5:18 a.m. and will set at 6:19 p.m. The moonrise will take place at 9:08 a.m. and will set at 10:42 p.m. In terms of our marine conditions, the sea state is moderate with winds blowing from the east at 10 to 20 knots. Today's low tide took place at 5:50 a.m. and a high tide will take place at 12:11 p.m. However, another low tide will take place at 7:56 a.m. and then tomorrow another high tide at 2:10 a.m. And that does it for our Eye on the Weather, again brought to you by the folks from the National Met Service. Isani, back to you.
Great job, Sab. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're beginning our two-part conversation with the leader of the United Democratic Party, the opposition leader Tracy Tager Panton, and of course the chairperson and Senator Patrick Faber. Stay tuned.
Did you know with Home Protector Insurance, construction projects can receive insurance coverage from start to finish?
We offer a variety of bonds.
This includes bid bonds, advance payment bond, performance bonds, or others. Let Home Protector be a part of your team and help safeguard you through your next project. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
Maria's was planned to open in 2020, and that's when COVID came. I thought the dream was dead. People would come to my house, they would purchase the coffees from there. That gave me the little confidence, like, okay, I could do this. Atlantic Bank, of course, helped me take the next step. Once I had their support, it was smooth sailing from there. This business is my life. It's literally what provides my family with food and employment. I employ 3 family members, so it's really everything for us.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Every day, the demand on your business gets higher. More productivity, better equipment, and reliable support to keep up with a fast-moving world. At Cellular World Business Solutions, we're ready to help you boost performance across every operation. Don't let outdated technology hold you back. With our certified and supported solutions, your business stays ahead. We supply office equipment, printers, inks, and toners, software licenses, IT system assembly as your Dell Platinum and Cisco partner, appliances, and custom orders tailored to your needs. From startups to large enterprises and renowned institutions, we serve every corner of the country because no industry can afford to fall behind on technology. Let's take your business to the next level. Contact us today at 610-2494. Cellular World Business Solutions, your reliable partner in business success.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA, so you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, and that there is none righteous, no, not one." There are two great facts the Bible makes clear about all of us. First of all, we have all sinned. Secondly, all of us need God's forgiveness. I understand that it was Billy Graham's custom to get names of prominent people in the city in which he would be conducting a crusade to pray for them in advance, that they would come to Christ during the crusade. Once, when preparation was being made to conduct a crusade in a large city in America, he wrote the mayor of that city and asked him to mail him a list of some people in the city whom he knew really needed forgiveness. The mayor responded by mailing Billy Graham a telephone book for the entire city. The message was clear. They all needed forgiveness. While some may be guilty of more obvious sins that incur greater guilt and consequences than others, the truth is that all of us have sinned and stand in need of God's forgiveness. How quick and ready God is to forgive the most vile of sinners who come to Him by faith in His Son, Jesus Christ. The last act of Jesus when dying on the cross was one of forgiveness. In His dying moments, He cried out to God and said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." 2,000 years later, He remains faithful and just to forgive all who honestly confess their sins unto Him. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy Inc. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easier for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are jumping into our first guest conversation this morning, and it's a two-part conversation with the opposition members. We are joined this morning by the Leader of the Opposition as well as the Leader of the UDP, Honorable Tracy Panton. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be here.
And also, I love the energy, right, Tawi? And also here with us in the middle, we have Chair Lady and Senator of the UDP, Honorable Sheena Pitts. Good morning.
Good morning.
And of course, no strangers to you guys as well. We also have here with us Lead Opposition Senator, Honorable Patrick Faber.
Good morning, Sabrina. Good morning, Isani.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is a pleasure having each and every one of you here this morning with us at this time. I think this is a timely conversation. It's coming off the heels of your press conference that took place yesterday. We were able to highlight some of those moments in our newscast last night. So I know that it's still fresh in the minds of the Belizean people at this time. And if they have any questions as well, you guys can use this opportunity to drop them in the comment section, and we'll try to bring them up and highlight them throughout the course of the conversation. Perhaps we can begin with setting the tone of this morning.
But perhaps, if I may, before we begin the conversation, on behalf of the United Democratic Party, we wish to first express our deepest condolences to the Humes family on the passing of Aaron. He was so unpretentious, but yet so fierce, very passionate about his work as a journalist. And so it was a sudden and I think a big loss for all of us, particularly members of the media community. And so we take this opportunity to express our heartfelt sympathies to, of course, first and foremost his family, but also to his colleagues.
Yes, we appreciate that. I want to begin with the events of yesterday, having a press conference from the UDP, perhaps just setting the pace of why you guys felt it important to gather and to speak to the people.
I think if I can, we have made it a commitment that the opposition will make itself accessible, available, to take on the hard issues, to be part of the national discourse on matters and concerns and issues that affect every Belizean. If we hope to lead this country in 2030, and that is exactly our plan, we must make ourselves accessible. Yeah. People need to know that they can come to us, they can talk to us, and you must know that we are always going to make sure that our voices are heard and the voices of the people we represent are heard. So this is a commitment. We try to have a monthly press conference, and even monthly doesn't seem that we should have them more often, because the issues are, the new issues emerging every single day, and to keep track of all of them and to discuss all of them becomes quite a challenge in one press conference. But surely you can expect to hear from us collectively in terms of what the position of the party is on any given issue, as often as we can.
As we sit here this morning, amongst the three of you representatives of the UDP, what in your opinion is the most pressing issue that Belize is faced with today?
It's hard to select one thing out of the plethora of issues. Crime and corruption, and I think stands out. There are too many families that are suffering from violent crime, from crime against women and children, and corruption, in my opinion, and my colleagues may see this differently, is the issue affecting our society. It's endemic and it has become systemic. And so it affects everything. The other major thing, of course, for every Belizean, including me, is the high cost of living and the fact that we are struggling every single day to make important decisions that affect our families, that affect our livelihoods. You know, do I pay my son's graduation fees or do I pay my rent? This is literally, decisions that parents are faced with. And of course, I think the other major issue affecting us is the whole issue of access to quality health care. And I say that because if you go on any social media platform, if you stop at any roundabout or major junction on any highway, there are people out there asking for help for basic access to health care. And that's indicative of who we are as a nation. Something is wrong and something needs to be corrected to ensure that Belizeans can have access to public healthcare services and primary healthcare services.
I'm glad that you're touching on healthcare as a point of concern here. There's a robust campaign being run on most of the media houses promoting the 25th anniversary of NHI. But from what we're understanding, it seems as if though NHI will be a bit more costly in the coming months in terms of contributions or what have you. You began by sharing your thoughts on that yesterday during the press conference. Can you expand on the position of the UDP where that is concerned? It hasn't gone to the House just yet, but it seems to be an issue that's looming.
It is a major issue that's looming, and as I said at yesterday's press conference, I think it's probably the biggest bukut our society will get yet. Now let me, so I'm not misquoted, be clear. The United Democratic Party supports universal health care. We support that primary health care services at minimum should be accessible by all Belizeans. NHI was the vehicle chosen to ensure that that is made possible. But with the new proposed bill to establish the National Health Insurance Authority, you question what the real motive is. You would have heard the Prime Minister, who I understand should have been a guest this morning on this show, opted out. I understand he's a little afraid of you, Sabrina. If the story on the street is correct, I don't know. But we're moving away from resourcing, equipping, financing public healthcare services to privatizing these healthcare services. The Prime Minister said, we take back with Belize, Belize will fund the national health insurance system. But in fact, what this legislation does is to create a parallel institute to SSB, where taxpayers, the working class, even pensioners will have to make contributions to the NHI authority that will then fund this rollout, this national rollout of NHI.
Is it to suggest, quickly, is it to suggest that the Bolido monies aren't enough to be able to cover?
Well, according to him, according to him, where there are record receipts from Fui Bolido. And so if there are record receipts, we need to make sure that these receipts are properly audited, and when they're allocated to whomever they're allocated, those allocations are also audited. From last year, 24-25, the allocation for NHI was what, 40 million? And in this financial year, we're up to 75 million. And we don't know how those monies will be allocated, how those monies are going to be used, who will be contracted, what services will be available. And we are told, trust us. The government is saying, trust us to spend $75 million of taxpayers' money. And even the board that is being established under this authority will have no fiduciary responsibilities. What happens is that the NHI authority becomes the provider. The NHI authority will become the regulator. Something is not adding up. I will tell you, Isani, when I went to the NHI, when I went to the committee meeting to discuss this particular bill, there was no member of the Ministry of Health at the meeting, and I found that rather peculiar. This is going to affect the entire national healthcare system. And when I asked the question, well, where is the representative from the Ministry of Health, I was told, well, this is not a health bill. This is, NHI will procure services. So the minister responsible is the Minister of Finance. So I said, so where is the representative from the Ministry of Finance to explain to us, to answer the questions we may have on this bill? And there was no representative from the Ministry of Finance. That is not acceptable. I will have you know that there is the UDP, the opposition, has a member on the current National Health Commission, and members of the commission did not see the final reiteration of this bill that will go to the National Assembly for approval. And when I asked, how come the movers and shakers, the persons who have been appointed to provide oversight, have not been able to review the final iteration of the bill? You know what I was told? They can go to the website. It's on our website. No, something is absolutely wrong. And when there is smoke, there is fire.
Before we expand a bit further on the NHI or health concerns, I want to get other members in the conversation. Perhaps we can go to you now, Ms. Pitts, being chairperson of the UDP, but also being involved in the Senate as well. You have been able to contribute to the conversation and even share some of your concerns. So I'll perhaps go back to the same question that Isani asked. What do you think is the most pressing issue in the country right now?
For me, much like the Honorable Tracy Tega-Panton, I see her issues as the most pressing ones. I would rank a little bit putting corruption at the top. And the reason why I would do that, if you had listened to her on the press conference yesterday, she said, when you have a minister or anyone of authority on the top just having their way with the public purse, then the man on the bottom seeing this is saying, but I want my share too. I would go further, and this is something that we as politicians, we have to at some point address, that it translates to the voting public, in that voters are saying that if it is you are there wanting to get into the seat of government, and if it is my belief that when these people get there, it is to have their way with the purse, then I must see what I can extract at this point. And so for me, corruption is through and through, whether we want to see it as that or not. And so there has to be at some point a conscious decision from all of us to say that we will not participate in it. So when you go to, let's say, the tax department, you must be courteous, you must be respectful, but to go and take a little cholis, to take a slice of cake, to buy lunch, which are all nice gestures, but when you do it in exchange for services, that is an indication that you're bartering something for something, which ought not be. So for me, corruption being number one is more than just zooming in on how the PUP is engaged in corruption at this point.
Do you believe, if I could throw this in quickly, that we're excuse me, operating within an atmosphere where everything seems to be a hustle? It's almost as if though we're being presented with certain services that are being taken away from government, but it seems as if though on the back end someone is screaming from it.
I'm glad you said that, because we are only seeing it and being confronting with it during this administration. The PUP is a hustling party. The NHI is a hustle. So when we talk about NHI, the concept was needed at the time because there was a gap. And so they used the UK model to introduce NHI in Belize. But what you're not hearing is that when we introduced it in Belize, it was to address primary care and then translate into secondary and eventually tertiary care. But that has not happened. And what we are seeing now is, hey, we're doing NHI, focusing on primary care for private healthcare institutions, and we are ignoring, abandoning public healthcare institutions. So we are effectively defunding public health care. And so when people complain that they go to the hospital and they have to buy their own Tylenol, their own syringe, their own this, like, how can that be if we are saying that we have taken back for we Bolido, put it to NHI, but people are still having to buy their things in a public hospital? So yes, they have turned essential services into a business, but it is a business that they benefit from. And we are seeing it in plain sight during this PUP administration with every single aspect of governance.
Yeah. It would almost seem a little bit perhaps too much of wishful thinking, though, to think that we could completely rule out corruption. And I believe that this was something that was mentioned by Honorable Panton yesterday, that if you would get the opportunity to lead this government in the next election, that you would completely wipe out corruption. Do you see that as realistic, though? Because when we look at the state of this country, in a lot of cases, it's almost like cultural, it's systemic, as Ms. Panton mentioned. How realistic do you think it is for you to completely kill corruption?
Is your question cynicism?
No, it's a sincere question.
Because being exposed to politics and governance, there is one thing that you become acutely aware of: gatekeeping and gatekeepers. And in ruling out corruption, the fight that you get to not do it is because there are those most central, I would say perhaps a cabal, that they rely on the wheel of it. And they will do everything to ensure that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah.
So if it is, we are serious about really addressing it, it will not take just Honorable Panton. It will not just take the UDP. It will take the entire nation. So when you go to a government ministry and there is an officer telling you, the Cinco de Mayo and I had some tacos, but stop right here. I need some help. You know? So what do you do in that instance?
To try to get your service quicker.
Yeah, so
the person there.
It's a collective effort.
Yeah.
And if we are not just one person, not just one leader, if all of us are serious about it, we conduct ourselves differently.
Yeah.
And when we conduct ourselves differently, it can be done. And guess what? It starts with someone who wants to get it done. And when Honorable Panton says that she will focus on that, I believe that with her cadre of people next to her, and I look to my very good friend, I know that it's very much possible, but it would take a lot of shaking the foundation. It would take a lot of resistance.
Looking back now, perhaps I am feeling a little bit cynical about it, because I think of the culture and I think of, you know, just the voting process. And there are a lot of voters who, they don't even want to go to the poll without only $50. They don't want to cast a ballot without only $50.
Do you know why?
It's a part of culture. It's engraved in people from a necessity. For a lot of people, they feel it's customary. You know, all the politicians before them.
Something has to be wrong. Something has to be wrong if we will chalk corruption up to being cultural.
Yeah.
I am appalled that would be. So, is there a magic one? No. Will we achieve it in one fell sweep? No. Or soup? No. But we have to start. And we have to get back to the fundamental principles and values that have helped to shape the United Democratic Party, that has helped to shape our society, so that we can move beyond. There is at no time should any of us accept corruption as being cultural to who we are.
Let's get Mr. Faber in the conversation, though.
I'll use the opportunity one second. I'll use the opportunity then to throw this in, because your detractors from within are essentially saying that who you have surrounding you are people who are waiting for their turn to feed at the trough. And if we're saying that, look, we're trying to stamp out corruption, but others within your party say, well, look, man, they want they're wrong you right now. They just to wait for their turn. How do you respond to that? Let's start with you, Mr. Faber.
Let's go back to one simple reflection. Have you ever seen the PUP, the Prime Minister John Briceño, in the 6 years that he has been in office, put out, condemn, actually deal with any matters of corruption? Or do you think that there have been no matters of corruption appearing its ugly head in the cabinet? The Belizean people are not foolish. They know that this has happened, and it goes back to what our party leader has said. It is the resolve. Goes back to what our party chairman has said. It is the resolve to try to deal with corruption that makes a difference. And you could say what you'd like about the former UDP administration. There are many things that we would accept to be real. But one thing is, you can go back and you can recount occasions when the then Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Dean Barrow, dealt publicly with elements of corruption in his cabinet. Can you point out one instance now where that is being done by John Briceño and the PUP administration? There is none. In fact, there are massive cover-ups. We see musical chairs being played in the cabinet. We hear he, in fact, himself gets on the television and public forum to say, hey, lie for these people. The man drop off our house. The man sick, the man this, the man, you know, and we know that corruption is very much alive. So the difference is, if people want to see it, that we have a party leader now, as we had a party leader then, who was prepared absolutely to deal with these matters, because they do come up from time to time. It is real, it is there.
Well, how do you respond to it being an internal criticism?
Don't bring up the detractors. You know, Isani, as well as I do, that there are persons who, for whatever reason, they don't want to see the honorable leader succeed. Let us not be distracted by them. We are on a path to bring this party back to where it once was, in terms of its glory, in terms of its service to the Belizean people, in terms of service to its membership, because we have a clientele who want to see right in this country. And even those who don't support us, they believe in good governance, and the person to bring that to us at this time is the Honorable Tracy Panton. But I liked what you said earlier about everything seeming to be a hustle, and that's what the Belizean people need to focus on, if I may shift back to that for just a minute. Everything, it's not just NHI. But we told him in the Senate, the Honorable Pitts and I told him, and the leader of government business, Senator Courtney, got up and said, no, you're absolutely wrong. In fact, NHI is not displacing the public health sector. NHI is not going to, and he went off on a rage to make the point that no, private healthcare providers are not the ones who are going to be benefiting from this. And then you hear the kind of comments that the Honorable Panton just mentioned, where in fact the health officials aren't even there. Reminds me of what is happening with the Ash Bill, which I hope we will get some time to hammer. But before that, the eternal hustle, everything, if you look at and let me use examples that Belizeans can readily identify with. They're taking down 2 bridges. There's a haste. If you ever try to come from Ladyville or Orange Walk later than 6:30 in the morning, you will see the catastrophe that it is. And now they are, in addition to doing the Northern Highway, they are starting the Western Highway. They're taking out the Swing Bridge. They're taking out Belcan Bridge. Why? You have to ask yourself why. Because there are contracts involved and time is against them now. Time is winding down, even though you may say, wow, we still have 4 years in this term. In fact, they might not get that amount of time, and so they have to make sure you make hay while the sun shines. So this city is going to be turned into a huge catastrophe shortly. And what Belizeans may not readily see is that the bridge at Hattieville is going to be taken out as well. Borden Canal Bridge is going to be taken out and replaced with another bridge that heavy traffic cannot flow on. So that traffic will have to go through John Smith or through Boom Hattieville and still end up along the Northern Highway trying to enter the city. Major traffic, big loads coming in the morning time when traffic is heavy. It is going to be a catastrophe, but the PUP doesn't care because there is money to make. There is a hustle in everything. Everything that you can think about. NHI, the gas prices, in fact, all of these things.
We can expand on that in just a moment. The first segment has already gone by so quickly, and so we have to take a very quick break. But don't go anywhere, guys. You still have an opportunity to drop some of your questions in the comments section. Share your thoughts on what we're discussing at this time. We'll be right back and continuing this conversation.
Look here, your kitchen light there and you never in the kitchen. But I'm going back in there right now. And the coffee maker? Just to try to keep my coffee warm for later. What do you know? I'll try to think about what to eat. You know, the more you open or close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool. For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You charge your phone right now? No. Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads? But this is my favorite shirt. You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC, they blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100# key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
Welcome back. Continuing our conversation with the leadership of the United Democratic Party this morning, we have with us in studio the opposition leader, Tracy Tegra Panton. She's joined by Chairwoman Sheena Pitts and Senator Patrick Faber. To continue where we left off from earlier, we began broaching the issue of the Occupational Safety and Health Bill. And the fact that it seems to be languishing at this point in the upper house after 10 years of strong push from the unions. Let's get your take.
More than 10 years, it's more like 14 years.
14, all right.
And indeed it is at the point where it is in the Senate now, but it is languishing, if we use your term, not because of any of the senators actually, but more because of the incompetence. I have to chart it up to incompetence or ignorance of those who are pushing the bill. That is the ministry with responsibility for labor. The last meeting that we had, Committee of the Whole Senate, we expected to get good, concrete interaction from the CEO, from the Labor Commissioner, and from those who drafted the bill from the Attorney General's ministry. And to our surprise, they told us outrightly, listen, we are not in a position to give you any information beyond what is in the bill already. The questions that you have, we are not prepared to answer because we have not yet met with the minister. The minister is on leave, in fact. And so we're not able to, and we have to question whether the minister himself understands some of the issues. Yes. Because from his interview, dealing particularly with one of the main issues that we have fundamental problems with, that is coverage for domestic workers. The minister demonstrated that he clearly didn't even read the bill, doesn't have a clue what a domestic worker is, and then tried to paint the picture that it is the Senate that's holding up the legislation. Subsequent to that, I mean, we spent 3 hours in that particular meeting hoping to get some answers, hoping to get some of our questions answered, hoping that we could get to a point where we could make some recommendations to make the thing fly. Lo and behold, they said they can't participate, so we said, all right, let's put it off. We scheduled another meeting. It came up, I think, a week or so after that one, to which we received a cancellation letter from the clerk saying, listen, these people have said they are not in a position to answer questions or to give us feedback at all. That has got to be absolutely unacceptable for the ministry that is supposed to now take this very important piece of legislation that you've had 14 years to champion, 14 years to get it right. And I'm not blaming anybody. The UDP administration introduced the OSH bill way back. And of course, there were many, many issues that had to be determined. There were things that the workers wanted to see in that bill. There were things that the employers wanted to see in that bill. There were things that people overlooked. And so it has been a long process, yes. But we are at a point where we could get this right. And I don't want people blaming the Senate, because the Senate really is trying to ensure that we get things right. And imagine if we didn't do that. Because what has to be made clear is that this government is only pushing the Arch bill simply because there is pressure from the labor union and the laborers. But they're pushing it in such a way that they're leaving many things up in the air, and once it is put into effect, you will see then the problems that it creates. And those loopholes, in our view, are too many for us to just say, give a nod to this piece of legislation without fixing them first, because there will be crisis. You don't cover domestic workers. All of this hinges on an inspectorate that has not yet been trained, that has not been, imagine somebody has to come into your workplace and make sure, and that training has to be specific to what they're inspecting for. If you're going to a chemistry lab, that's different from going to a sanitation work spot, or a construction work site, or a classroom, right? So you have to be trained according to where you're going to inspect. It takes some time. The most glaring factor that they're unprepared is that there's no budget. There's no budget.
Do you think then that this is a matter of how expensive this legislation would be, or the passing of this would be?
It is, and that is probably one of the reasons why it was delayed for so long, because for instance, the employer said, listen, we can't handle that. This now requires us to do XYZ, spend X amount of dollars to get our workplace ready. It now requires us to have safety gear that is very expensive. And the workers are saying, well, on the other hand, here we are being maimed, being killed, then you're not helping us. The hospital bills are piling up and nobody's helping us. So we want the legislation. So there are pushes from everywhere, and cost is a factor, but it should not be ignored. If we're going to say to the workers, if we're going to say to the laborers of this country, we have your back, we will protect you, we'll make sure that those employers take care of you and take care of themselves at the same time, because they could be hit with a lot of liability if they don't do what they ought to do. But it's just lip service, and when you get down to brass tacks, as my good friend Michael Finnegan would say, it ain't nothing there. Then we have to look at that, and that is how it is with this administration. Every piece of legislation, sorry Sonny, that goes to the House in my 24 years, and when I look at the PUPs especially, those pieces of legislation go because some international force is dictating it. We see that with the financial bills that come.
Financial services.
We see where there's pressure from unions to do what they expect. There's legislation passed because there is some hustle. That is the MO of the People's United Party in government. They do what they have to do in order to survive because of international pressure, to appease the unions in a kind of makeshift way, or legislation to hustle, like we go down the hustle road, the Beacol thing, what they just did with the sugar industry, BSI and ESR BSI. They make legislation, what they just did with ramen noodles. They make legislation tailor-made, tailor-fit to certain entities because there is money in it for the grand old party of the PUP. And we need to stop that kind of thing. We need to make sure that legislation is being made in this country for the benefit of our citizenry. We need to make sure that we have legislation that benefits our position as a regional giant, because we can be a giant in this region in Central America. As small as we are, we can be a giant in the Caribbean as well. And so we need to stop that kind of bad legislation and bad governance and move towards things that really can move us forward.
Let's move in a different direction here, where it concerns fuel, the cost of fuel, and the social services, if I may, that are hinged to the taxes applied to fuel. While in opposition, John Briceño had a solution for the cost of living and the fuel hikes that were experienced under the then United Democratic Party government. He's been in power for a term and a half, 6 years so far. And notwithstanding what's taking place in the Middle East, the cost of fuel is through the roof, and the average motorist or the average consumer bears the brunt of prices going up on many other products. What are your take on that?
So let me say this. I liken where we are in terms of the high cost of living and the high cost of fuel to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
This is COVID 2.0. COVID was not incubated in Belize. For lack of a better term, it was imported. What is going on in the Middle East affects the acquisition cost of fuel. And therefore, as the Prime Minister likes to say, inflation is imported. But we have a responsibility as a government to mitigate the impact on Belizeans, the working class, the vulnerable. So in COVID, you will remember that our former party leader and former Prime Minister took the high road, a statesmanship approach, in inviting the opposition at that time to sit with him to find the solutions in the national interest. The PUP abandoned that after a while, but there was an attempt to put partisanship aside and to work in the national interest of this country. The former Prime Minister went further. He met with all the international financing institutions, and we are realigned all our priorities to ensure that the basic needs of our citizenry was addressed, whether it was through whatever social safety net programs were at the time, the food pantry, whether it was income subsidies, boost. We created a safety social net support for farmers. We did a lot in terms of supporting entrepreneurship, because a government's first responsibility is to the people.
The backlash for that?
Can I say, no, let me finish my thought. The Prime Minister took a total of 12 minutes, because I counted each one, to say we're reducing the budget by $55 million on the guise of the high fuel costs. $30 million in infrastructure projects and $25 million in goods and services. We are yet to understand what those infrastructure projects are and what goods and services will be impacted, and how that $55 million is going to be reinvested to support and help to mitigate against high fuel costs. We are yet to find out what direct relief this government is providing to families, providing to farmers, providing to transportation providers. What is the direct relief, and most importantly, to consumers? So COVID was imported, inflation was imported, but that does not abdicate the responsibility of a government to address the concerns and issues that Belizeans are facing every day. We are being pushed to the margins of poverty, because there's no longer a middle class in this country. We're getting to the point where there are those who don't have and those who have. And that's a dangerous place to be. And yet, the Prime Minister continues to boast about the growth in the economy. He continues to boast about the employment rate, how it's dropped. about so many things that is not the reality that Belizeans are experiencing every single day. And therefore, he's not seen to be credible. Because if you are telling me, and you stand before the Belizean people and say the economy is growing, we should be able to feel it as ordinary citizens. If you are not aligned to the PUP's political ideology, and you're not a member of their friends and family club, then you do not benefit under this administration. On this side, we are concerned, and we have always been the party that has been concerned about the welfare and well-being of our citizens, and I don't think you can argue that.
To make much of the last few minutes that we have, I want to use this opportunity to perhaps have each of you highlight just something that you can ensure that the public understands that they can expect from the UDP during this time in opposition to ensure that they have the confidence in you come the next general election. Perhaps we can begin with you, Mr.
Sure. Firstly, we in the UDP, I mean, let me speak to that. We have a very good leader. We have the greatest of hopes that our party leader will become the first female prime minister, and people can be assured that she moves in the right direction. She does things according to the books, which may rub some people the wrong way who want things to go their own way, and who we know have proven to not want to follow the rules. But I implore members and supporters of our party, and even those who have not traditionally supported our party but now are looking for a solution to PUP gone wrong. This is the solution. The leadership of the Honorable Tracy Ponton is solid, and we are going to work to ensure that we have this party fighting fit when those elections are called. You can count on that. Just to give you a little insight into the background work of the party, for instance, we have a very strong policy and platform committee that have been working tirelessly to create policies. You know, as an opposition, it's not necessarily our job to come up with solutions to hand to the government, to have them own it and take it on. But we are a responsible opposition as well that know that one day we will. And I say we will because that is how the pendulum swings. We will become the government of this country, and we have to have concrete, solid plans to help to bring back our country from the PUP. So we have policies galore, that we have competent, capable persons leading the charge in healthcare, in education, in transportation. Look at the mess that is being made there. And so people can look forward to UDP administration when next we come, that is properly organized and well ready for the challenge of fixing the problems that the PUP would have created and they continue to create. For me, and I didn't get a chance to answer this, for me it is the cost of living that is the major issue in this country. And it feeds into crime, it feeds into corruption at the lower level, as my colleagues have been saying. I was about to get into going into the manager's office 2 days ago, and I went to the gas station because I could have sworn that what I ordered in gas was not put into my vehicle. You don't get much for that, for whatever you pay for gasoline nowadays. The guy had to show me the camera, the time, and how much on the computer. But this is what Belizeans are feeling on an everyday basis. You go to the store, a box of juice that used to cost $3.75, now that at $7.50, double the price. Things are doubled, tripled, and then there is price control issues as well. Those things are very real, and we don't see the government doing a single thing about that. One store can have something for $1 cheaper than another store. How come nobody's taking stock of that, you know? So I appeal to Belizeans too to stand up. I said at the previous press conference that to me, the people of this country seem to be soft on the PUP. And I maintain that there are double standards when it comes to the UDP and the PUP. man, if I'm a trace to take upon thunder, the Prime Minister, and they do their nonsense. What Johnny Brissender they do, they try to buy over Smart, they try to do this, they try to do that, you know. All of these clandestine deals that they are running, people of this country would not have stood for it. If gasoline prices were where they are now, in fact, you saw that when it was the UDP in power, the people took to the streets, you know. So we need really to do our part as citizens of this country too, to sound the alarm against the bad practices of the government.
Unfortunately, we are completely out of time. Mr. Faber gave the complete wrap up, but I'll toss it once more to Honorable Panton, just as leader of UDP, to share final thoughts.
Sorry, Sheena, you must give
take your time, man. Unless we could share 30 seconds.
Well, let's not take my time. So I want to say to the Belizean people that the United Democratic Party is serious about good governance. We are serious about safeguarding Belize's very fragile democracy. We are accessible. We are available. We will continue to listen to your concerns and the issues you bring forward, because those things help to inform the policy solutions that we will put forward at the right time. We are going to remain true to our commitment that we are an inclusive party that welcomes as many people as want to under the tent of the United Democratic Party. Belize first. It's always Belize first. And the people of this country are the reason we continue to advocate, we continue to champion, we could continue to give voice to the issues facing our country. So I want to thank you for listening and thank you for receiving us the way you continue to receive us as we rebuild and as we focus our attention on the national issues that matter to you.
Excellent. I have to say thank you so much for taking the time. We sat down, we had an hour conversation, and I feel like it still wasn't enough. But hopefully we can get an opportunity to be joined again. I know you said you have plans to have a monthly press conference, so maybe next month we see you guys again fresh to tackle some new concerns and of course even offering suggestions as well. Thank you very much for joining us, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
All right, we have to take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. We have another interesting conversation to look forward to. When we come back, we'll be looking at skin cancer, and we'll be joined by a dermatologist to share more about that.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Rock, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. Smart, bringing people together.
Season 8 of KTV. I want for me, baby. This is a moment. If you got the voice, the vibe and the passion to live everything you've got on this stage. Mark your calendar and get camera ready. Auditions are June 6 and 7 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. At a Greater Belize, Leisure Studios and Coney Drive, Belize City. Hey, selected contestants will enter the KTV Season 8 competition, and the lucky winner will go home with a 10,000 grand prize. This is your moment. Are you ready? Are you ready? I want. This is your moment. Are you ready? Are you ready? I want for me. This is your moment.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are jumping into our third segment, and I think this one is very important. The month of May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and you guys would know that the skin is the largest organ in the body. And so we thought it fitting to have a doctor here with us to share a bit more information on the skin and the importance of protecting your skin against skin cancer. We are joined this morning by Dr. Jorge Lopez. He's a dermatologist, but I think a lot of people know you as Dr. Skin as well, right? I don't know how you feel about that. but we've definitely come to appreciate your presence here.
Thank you.
As always, Dr. Lopez. And perhaps we can begin with this month and the importance of skin cancer awareness, especially here in Belize. I think oftentimes people don't recognize how they can, or they don't even understand how you get skin cancer, and there are a lot of misconceptions and myths around it as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I think the most important message would be that every skin tone can actually suffer with skin cancer, right? Not all skin cancers are created equal. Some skin cancers, like melanoma, the relationship with sun exposure is not as direct. But for example, with basal cell carcinoma, which is the most common type of skin cancer, we know for a fact that exposure to UV light is the driving factor. So every person of every shade of color of skin could have skin cancer, and that's something that I would like to that the public to realize. And this is very important, because what happens is, if I don't think I can have skin cancer because my skin is brown, then I'm going to go check the doctor when the cancer is more advanced. So that immediately creates more problems, and that's a reality that we even see in countries as big as the US.
There are so many different types of skin conditions that a person could have. When we think acne to different discoloration, I imagine for the common eye or for the common folk, it might be difficult to determine if you're just having some type of regular skin issue versus cancer, right?
Yeah.
And you also mentioned that there are different types of skin cancers too. What are they, and how can you detect, or how can you what are the signs to know if this might be something concerning that could lead to cancer?
That's an excellent question, but it's a very hard question to answer.
Okay.
Because just to give you an idea, no, maybe people might be knowledgeable of the ABCD with melanoma, right? But here's the thing. There is a variant of melanoma that is not black. We call it amelanotic melanoma, and it's a pink lesion, right? So if you have that ABCD ingrained, then you see a pink growth, and you're not going to pay mind to it. So it's although those are good things for people to know, the best advice I can give is know your skin. Once you see a new growth, it's better to check, especially if you have family members with skin cancer, or if you know you've been in the sun for the past 20 years, even though right now, you know, that job you're not doing anymore. But here's the thing, skin cancer is something that builds up over time, right? Sun damage builds up. And once it crosses a threshold, then the skin cancer will develop. So it's very hard to give like a description of what it looks like. Many times patients come to me and they have no clue. It didn't even cross their mind that it would be a skin cancer, right? And then another thing I would like to let people know is that nowadays technology is allowing us to do less biopsies. There's something called dermoscopy, which is an equipment or equipments that act like, let's say, like a microscope for the skin. So this allows us to look into it. It's like learning a new language, right? You have to kind of study this. And then once you have a dermatoscope and there's a suspicious lesion, you increase the accuracy of saying, don't you worry, it's nothing, or you know what, it really looks suspicious, we have to do a biopsy.
Let's look at some of the basic skincare techniques then that one could apply given the climate that we're in, and of course perhaps what are some of the dangers that are out there if we don't take care of our skin appropriately.
Okay, so the most important recommendation is protection, photo protection, avoiding the exposure to UV radiation, right? So the books would say from 10 to 4, try not to be outside. But once you're on the street, 7:30 comes, you know, you feel the sun already burning, right? So it's important to use physical protection like long sleeves, you know, a hat, buff, depending on what your job is, right? And sunscreen. Now, with sunscreen, there have been a lot of advances. We even have sunscreens in powder form now, which are very practical for our climate because you know you won't be sticky or greasy if you sweat. So there's a lot of advancement in that field, no? So sunscreen, I would say, and then physical protection, as in the clothes. For example, there are now some clothing that come with integrated sun protection. There are some detergents that bring that factor to give that extra protection, no?
Yeah.
And then we have to please remember that kids are more vulnerable. It really hurts me when I see little babies on a stroller, you know, at 1 o'clock.
And they're exposed to the sun.
Yes, and they're exposed to the sun. So for you to have an idea, if a baby is less than 6 months old, at least the American Academy of Dermatology does not recommend any sunscreen use for that because the skin is so sensitive, right? And then not only about sun exposure, but then temperature. Babies don't handle temperature changes as well as we do. So we also have to bear in mind that depending on the age of the patient, we have to tailor the care, no?
Now, for Belize, do we find that are there a lot of cases of people with skin cancer?
You know, that's a great question, and I think we lack the studies to actually answer that question, but based on my experience in Belize for the last 17, 18 years, I would say yes, there's quite a bit because you know, we get a lot of sun pretty much year long. It's not like up north, you know, where you have few months where sunlight is not there. So definitely, and then our population is very varied, right? Like we have the group of Mennonites, which have very fairly skin, and skin cancer in them tends to be very, very frequent, right? And then you have also to look into a lot of people in our country.
It's also based on the work that they do too, though.
Exactly.
As farmers being out in the sun for the better part of the day.
Yes, that's what I was going to tell you, right? That even if you're not fair-skinned, but if you are working on the streets, you know, or in doing tourism, or you're a tour guide, you're exposed to this, or a fisherman, right? So no matter what your skin type is, you have that UV radiation exposure.
Yes.
And that's what would lead to skin cancer.
If there's a person tuning in right now who would like to check to see if something that they're observing on their skin has any signs of skin cancer, how can they do so? What would you recommend the steps they take?
Okay, they definitely want to see a dermatologist. Like I said, we have now the technology to be able to put their mind at ease with dermoscopy. If you know, even if it looks suspicious, but with dermoscopy we can with high accuracy tell if it's cancerous or not, and if a biopsy is necessary, well, the earlier that it's done, the better.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Doc. We appreciate the time that you take as always. And we have one more conversation to jump into, I believe, Isani. And so at this time, we are going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, a lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. Belize Electricity Limited. We continue to serve you.
All right, you're all set. I'll swap out the water inlet valve and everything is running normally.
Amazing. So what will be the cost?
Oh, for you? There's no cost.
No cost? I'm flattered, but I'm actually married.
Oh no, nothing like that. It's actually part of our 1-year warranty policy.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Don't worry, it happens all the time.
Really?
No.
Belize's only full-service GE USA dealer. Full service, full warranty, full selection. GE Appliances. Good things for life. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
The Social Security Board's new whistleblower reporting system makes it easy and confidential to speak up by reporting misuse of the Social Security services and benefits, including fraud, misconduct, false claims, and more. If you know of any unethical or illegal activity relating to SSB benefits, claims, or personnel, go to ssbspeakup.integrityline.com or use our toll-free hotline 0800-SPEAK-UP. 0800-773-2587. This confidential reporting system is a way for you to report concerns or incidents privately without fear of reprisal. Your submission is confidential and anonymous. The Social Security Board is committed to providing a secure, confidential medium for whistleblowing that promotes organizational accountability and enhances public confidence in our services.
hurry, Dangriga. Something big is coming your way. Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026 is heading to the culture capital, Dangriga. Join us on June 12th at 6:30 a.m. at the iconic Alejo Beni Park for a morning filled with energy, excitement, and pure talent. This year, it's all about the kids, from singing to dancing, poetry to performances. If they've got talent, we've got the stage. Bring out the entire family and come celebrate creativity, culture, and the future stars of Belize. Expect fun, music, surprises, and unforgettable moments. Don't miss it. Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026, where young talent shines the brightest.
Insurance fact. Did you know with Home Protector Insurance, construction projects can receive insurance coverage from start to finish? We offer a variety of bonds. This includes bid bonds, advance payment bond, performance bonds, or others. Let Home Protector be a part of your team and help safeguard you through your next project. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
Maria's was planned to open in 2020, and that's when COVID came. I thought the dream was dead. People would come to my house, they would purchase the coffees from there. That gave me the little confidence, like, okay, I could do this. Atlantic Bank, of course, helped me take the next step. Once I had their support, it was smooth sailing from there. This business is my life. It's literally what provides my family with food and employment. I employ 3 family members, so it's really everything for us.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Every day, the demand on your business get higher. More productivity, better equipment, and reliable support to keep up with a fast-moving world. At Cellular World Business Solutions, we're ready to help you boost performance across every operation. Don't let outdated technology hold you back. With our certified and supported solutions, your business stays ahead. We supply office equipment, printers, inks, and toners, software licenses, IT system assembly as your Dell Platinum and Cisco partner, appliances, and custom orders tailored to your needs. From startups to large enterprises and renowned institutions, we serve every corner of the country because no industry can afford to fall behind on technology. Let's take your business to the next level. Contact us today at 610-2494. Cellular World Business Solutions, your reliable partner in business success.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
And welcome back. Our final conversation this morning is all about digital literacy. We have joining us virtually Timothy Dami. He's the district coordinator for Punta Gorda. Good morning, Mr. Dami.
Good morning.
And he's joined by Paul Diaz. He's the district coordinator for Belize City. And again, this is all about digital literacy training. Gentlemen, once again, good morning, and let's get into it. Tell us a bit about this project and what it seeks to achieve.
Basically, the program is called Digital Innovation to Boost Economic Development in Belize Project. It's a joint project with the Ministry of Finance, IDB, and the University of Belize. And the problem we're looking to solve is that many Belizeans have devices whether they be laptops, whether they be tablets or smartphones. But we want to make sure that they know how to use them to access critical and important services and safely. It's important that they're able to identify scams, and it's also important that they understand that as the government and most businesses are transitioning from a pen and paper, walk-in customer service type of environment to a online platform, albeit via portals or browsers or applications on their phone. Many individuals are left behind because they just don't know how to use these services. Many of them may be in rural areas who do not have access to internet or current 24/7. So we're providing this service. The first training will start this weekend, this Friday, in Punta Gorda. It'll be a 2-day affair where we will bring in outside entities such as the PG Police Department to talk about safety. We're going to have Belize Bank here to talk about how to use and show, more importantly, how to use their app to access your bank account, how to use eCash, Social Security, showing you how to file a claim, using the app to check your benefits. So all of these individual players, we also have ICB coming to show how to use the insurance, and we have a segment with the employment officer from Labor Department to show job seekers how to access various employment sites, making sure that they're able to put together a proper cover letter and a resume. So it's really designed to bring people into using technology for productivity, because many of our young people even typically use their technology for social media and maybe games. But we need to teach them how to interact in this world that we have created for them, because basically everything is moving to online. And eventually, not only will it not just be an option, it'll be mandatory. So I think it's a very important project that we're working on.
I like this project. I think when we think of digital literacy, we oftentimes assume that it's important for older folks who might not have been able to adjust to the digital world. But I can tell you, even as a young person myself, I find myself at times struggling to navigate certain applications. And I think when we think of that, we also think of the need to understand the cybersecurity risks involved as well. Scammers, they're getting even more savvy with bringing us in and convincing even younger users that whatever they have to offer is legitimate. I want to get Paul in the conversation as a young person representing the University of Belize as well. Why do you think that this is important for all populations?
I believe it's important for all populations because even though we may be younger, or age I don't see as a factor in this. Sometimes we ourselves as young individuals do have some sort of platforms or information where we ourselves don't know how to operate.
Yeah.
The other day I was doing some exams with a school, and then the students looked at me and asked me, "Sir, what is an encyclopedia?" So it's the age of technology. So even though we may be older or younger, there are certain things that we may not know that the other person may be knowing.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why when it comes to our trainers that we'll be utilizing, or the people that we have asked to become the ones to train the buddies, we targeted high schoolers, primarily fourth formers, where they will now go into the community and they will teach either relatives or friends or individuals that they know how to use these platforms. So the target groups that we'll be focusing on would be youth like themselves, job seekers, the at-risk youths. Sometimes we have minorities as well, single mothers. And so they will be working with them, teaching them how to use different platforms, how to maybe apply for a job, using different platforms that the government is having. I know now a lot of the times they don't want you to go into offices and go and apply that we're used to as Belizeans with the pen and paper, paying for it. Now everything is online. I know the other day my mom was kind of getting annoyed because she's used to getting like a hard copy bill in the mail, and now everything is through email or WhatsApp. And a lot of individuals have that attitude where I'm just reluctant, or have this thing where they refuse to be more tech savvy or embracing of technology. So we're trying to bridge that digital divide and allow them to see that technology isn't something scary, and it's something that they can use in their everyday lives, and it is something where it will be a smooth transition for them.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into the details of the project and how people can get involved. As you mentioned, this is for persons to better understand these platforms and how to utilize them to get all the access to services that are available. Can you give us a bit more details on the project?
Okay, so for mine, my first phase, so we're starting into phase 2 of the project, where the individuals we had in phase 1 were trained with the information, and now they will go into the a training where they'll be training the individuals from their community what they learned from the phase 1 of the project. So what we'll be doing now, we have our first training for Belize City on Saturday. It starts at 9 a.m. It will be at EP York. For those of you who would like to join, you can give me a contact at 608-1741 or send me an email at pauld7214@gmail.com. We also have flyers that you can also use with a QR code, which we're trying to get away from the pen and paper.
Yeah.
So we're kind of launching with a sign up online and starting to have your first phase of using the online portals with the technology based.
Yeah. And Mr. Dami as well, when we think of having these other bodies collaborate with an initiative like this, why is it important to have other stakeholders like the IDB and other platforms as well?
Yeah, and you brought up a point earlier, Sabrina, which was about the older folks, right? So the first round of this training that we did last year focused on individual citizens that were over 50. This one is anyone over the age of 16. So basically, we're looking at expanding the net. Now, also in this training, what we're doing differently is we're also bringing in those key stakeholders. So like I mentioned, Belize Bank, Social Security, Punta Gorda Police Department, ICB. We also have the Digi Wallet. So the important part here is that when people leave, they will actually have user accounts that they have created and have gone in and conducted some sort of a transaction so that they know how to do something. And there's, we have the 2 days this weekend back to back. So Friday and Saturday, 8:30 to 11:30 on the PG campus for the University of Belize in our conference center. It's a room that holds 100 people. It's fully equipped with AC. It's got digital capacity, so we could have projectors. We have whiteboards, we have everything that the presenters can need, and all of the buddies will be there to assist. We're going to be splitting people up based upon their capacity. Everyone will take a pre-assessment and a post-assessment to ensure that they know how to do something. We have our post-assessment basically says it's the same as the pre-assessment. Can you do something? Yes, no, or with help. The goal is everyone should say yes at the end. And so there is about a 6-week phase that takes place after these community trainings, where the digital buddies actually who live in the communities will be following up with these small digital clinics to take all of these individuals through at least 6 out of 8 of the post assessments. This way ensuring that they can actually complete these tasks. We're encouraging everyone to bring their own devices, because we all know that when you learn on your own device, when you go home, you carry that knowledge with you better. But if you don't have a device, we have computers, we have tablets available for those people to use. But we do encourage you to bring your own, because many times when people are learning for the first time how to do something, when they go home, they'll say, well, on my device, that I don't see that, it looks different. So we're really trying to get them to download all of these apps and also save these websites to their favorites so that the transition is seamless.
Excellent. Well, Paul, can you remind us once more of how we can get in touch if we would like to be a part of this training?
Okay, so you can reach me through WhatsApp at 608-1741. Just give me a message with your details. As I said, the location is going to be at EP York. We are welcoming walk-ins as well.
Does it come with a fee?
If you just want to come, what it's about. We're also not only focusing on individuals who are also impaired. We also were working with BACTA, for individuals who are disabled. Also, that's another target group that we're working on for the disabled, for visually impaired individuals as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we're focusing on one target area. We're trying to bridge the divide in as much ways as possible.
Yeah. Does it come with a fee?
No, it's free of charge. We also provide lunch for you and breakfast as well when you come. If sometimes you need transportation, we can also provide transportation for you if it's from an area that you're not close to the location.
Wow, that sounds like an excellent opportunity then for persons to take advantage of. We have to say kudos to you guys and for the work that you're doing in trying to provide this type of support to people. We wish you guys all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
All righty. Well, we do have to wrap things up at this time, Isani. It's been a jam-packed show, and we have to say thank you to you guys for locking in with us, commenting in the comment section, and staying informed and engaged. We appreciate it. It is Wednesday, May 20th, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. Again, we want to give a birthday shout out to Wilbert. Happy birthday to you, buddy. And if anyone else is celebrating a birthday, or if you'd like to give a birthday shout out, you can email us at oye@greaterbelize.com. You can also catch us on our social media pages. We have Facebook, that's Open Your Eyes BZ. Instagram for behind the scenes contents, that's OIE Belize. We even have TikTok, that's openyoureyes.bz. You can also call us or text us on our OIE phone number, that's 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes
to start your morning right.
Until then, be sure to keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Wednesday. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.